Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be going over what you need to be doing in your CS2 games if you want to have more impact and rank up. Sometimes you'll get good teammates, sometimes you'll get bad teammates, but you can only really trust yourself, so you have to take the game into your own hands. So I'm going to go over a few of the things that I'm thinking about when I queue into a game, and this way of playing has helped me to reach over 3700 elo and top 50 on Faceit. But real quick, I do have to say thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring today's video. SkinsMonkey is an automated trading site that allows you to take some of your old skins and trade them in for some new ones. There are a ton of skins on the site, but if you're looking for something specific, you can use the filter to find the skin that you're looking for. And when you're making your first trade on the site, make sure to use my code GREAT for a bonus of up to $5 for free. If you see a skin on the site that you want and you don't have one of equal value, you can also deposit money with a 30% bonus plus an extra 5% if you use my code GREAT at checkout. And even if you don't have anything to trade, they do free giveaways every single day, so there's literally nothing to lose by joining SkinsMonkey. So just make sure to use the link in my description and have fun trading. The first thing you need to be doing is for CT side, and you have to be calling impactful positions. On T side, you can kind of go wherever in the pack, but for example, on CT side Mirage, you cannot allow yourself to become the B anchor. It's not that the B anchor isn't an important role, because your B anchor has to be good and hold down the site for the times that they do come towards B, but it's just a fact that most of the action happens towards A and mid, and the Ts don't really go B that often. So if you are stuck in a less impactful role like B anchor, where you're just going to be spending a lot of time jump spotting and playing for info, then you're just going to have less impact in a game. So if you're really wanting to be in the fight, you have to call some of the mid positions, whether it's window, con, or cat. Even the A player can probably have more impact than the B anchor, because you can also play retake from stairs, you could fight towards mid with your team, and Ts commonly do A executes, so you're going to get a lot of action there. But yeah, unless you're really trying to practice your B anchor role because that's what you play on your team, then I would try to learn some of the more impactful spots like mid, con, or cat, so that you can make sure you're in the fight almost every single round of CT side. Alright, the next thing is you should not be afraid to ask your teammates for some help. Just because you are playing in an impactful spot does not mean that you have to play alone. For example, if I want to fight mid as the connector player on Mirage, and I just throw my bottom con smoke and then right click a flash through, if I'm trying to do this to fight into Valley, there's a chance that I just get killed from any of the positions the Ts could be that aren't going to get blind. For example, the Ts could be boxes, or even over here in top mid, not getting blind by my flash coming through the smoke. So to make a play like this have a higher % chance of working, all you have to do is ask for your A player, for example, to throw a flash over connector. Now anyone towards top mid will get blind. And best case scenario, we also get our teammate towards window to molly boxes, so anyone is pushed out of this position, they'll get destroyed by both of these flashes, and then swinging out through this con smoke is going to be so much better. Another example of working with your teammates on CT side is calling for the pushes on extremities. So if we're just starting connector and we hear heavy utility used towards mid, if the T's molly con, smoke top mid, smoke window, flash towards boxes, swing out, spam the top mid smoke, us as the connector, cat player, or window player should have a pretty good idea that the T's are heavy towards mid. So all we have to do, instead of just fighting to the death in mid, just tell our A player, let's double push ramp, try and find the A lurk. Most of the time, just get that kill for free because the A lurk is not going to be expecting us to push, but if not, get the info and get the trade, or best case scenario, just push through and get an insane flank early in the round. Basically, all I'm trying to say is don't just run your head into the wall trying to fight mid alone just because you're in an impactful position. Some games you are just going to be able to run it down because you're better than the enemies, but if you're playing against somewhat decent players, you can't just do super puggy plays every single round, so just don't be afraid to play with your teammates and you're going to get way more wins. Now this next tip is mostly for T side, and that is just bait more. Now listen before you take that tip at face value. I'm not telling you to bait super hard and just be useless for your team, but bait with a purpose. Like I said, you're the only factor that's going to be consistent in every single one of your pugs, so you have to put some trust in yourself to have impact on the game in order to win. And if you're just going to be the one running out first, getting the info and probably dying, whether it's on an A execute or some sort of B pop where you're just going to be jumping out the window for info, try to make yourself one of the last people alive. Now the way to do that and also have impact is to be the one throwing the correct nades. If you want to rank up, you have to have a good idea of what nades need to be thrown on default executes. For example, we need to know right side A smokes on Mirage. So if your team calls for an exec, just say you have the nades, ask someone to drop you the smoke, and then let your team go out first, and then just play behind, get the trades, and then play the clutch if you're one of the last alive. If the B pop is called and no one is saying they have the flashes, just make yourself that person, buy the flashes, flash your teammates out. Then when you're coming up apps late, you're going to have the info on where everyone is. You're going to have the chance to get those trades. And then if you've been practicing your clutching and aim, you're going to have a chance to show it off. So like I said, I'm not telling you to bait and be super useless. If you're one of the first spawns on a B pop and someone already said they have the flashes, you're going to have to just run it down and try and get the info. And if you die, you die. And if you're one of the first two spawns, don't bait and just sit back here and let everyone pass you just so you can play the clutch. Everyone does have to play their role in the execute, pop, or rush. But yeah, try and put yourself into the position where you're throwing the nades, and you're going to find you have way more impact than some of your teammates would if you just let them throw the nades for you and you run out and die. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about is very small, and that is to just stop buying a deagle on the second round after you lose pistol. On T side, if you lose the pistol round and don't get the plant, and you buy a deagle and end up with only like $1,400 left, after you lose this eco round, which you probably are going to lose, you're going to have basically 0 nades on the first gun round. And listen, I know it's fun to buy a deagle. No one wants to run around with just a Glock and no armor, and sometimes I buy the deagle too. But more often than not, it's better to just save the money, make sure that you get full nades on the first gun round, which is one of the most important rounds in the game, and just suck it up and use the Glock. And here's another baiting tip for you. Most of the time, your teammates are just going to buy deagles anyway and then run it down and die. There are so many times where I'll see 4 of my teammates buy deagles, so I'll actually just sell mine, watch my teammate swing mid at the start of the round. With no flash, no window smoke, no anything, he's probably just going to instantly die. And then after he dies, I just pick up his deagle and I save the money and got a deagle anyway. But even if you don't get a deagle on the second round, just understand you're going to have way more impact with the nades that you can buy on the first gun round than you would with the off chance that you hit a 1 on someone with full armor M4 when you have no armor and limited nades. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in today's video. If you're wanting to watch how I play pugs, you can either check out my stream when I'm live or watch the POV videos that are uploaded on my channel right now. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or join my Discord. And if you're interested in coaching, there is a link in the description. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope these tips can help you guys rank up. See you next time.